Andrew Yang's campaign says it raised $16.5 million in the fourth quarter of 2019. That's in the last 3 months. And look how much Joe Biden's campaign raised. Considering he's gotten a lot more media attention than Andrew Yang has. Because Andrew Yang, the corporate media does not want Andrew Yang to be the Democrat frontrunner, but he's doing all of this fundraising from the grassroots. And it's amazing how the corporate media doesn't really control the narrative anymore. It's a clear example of that. I mean, just look at how much speaking time Andrew Yang gets at the debates. He gets the least amount of speaking time, but he's managed to gather the most social media attention. Just look at this. MSNBC admitted him from the graphics 12 times, called him John Yang on the air, and gave him a fraction of the speaking time over the last 2 debates, despite polling higher than other candidates on stage, like Warwick, Klobuchar, Castro, Harris, and Booker especially. If Andrew Yang had the amount of speaking time Joe Biden or at least Cory Booker would have, he would be polling around Bernie Sanders level right now. Seriously. Andrew Yang brings in a different base of people who weren't politically involved in Ford, like Donald Trump. I mean, seriously, like, the reason why Andrew Yang is, like, capturing a lot of independents, Republicans, and libertarians like me is because his platform is, because the guy knows that Trump is a symptom of the problem in Washington and not the overall problem like what the corporate media is trying to sell to us. I mean, seriously, at the last debate, he said the realest fucking thing about, about the corporate media being obsessed with Trump, Russia, da-da-da-da, but most people don't care about that shit. They care about healthcare, they care about their wages, and they care about jobs. I mean, basically he's speaking about real shit that resonates with most people, and the guy is absolutely memeable. He's absolutely memeable, and he knows he's one of the few Democratic candidates to know the art of persuasion, because the establishment Democrat candidates don't really have that art of persuasion. And for those of y'all who says UBI is not a libertarian idea, listen to Milton Friedman, a libertarian economics.
Lose their human independence and feeling of dignity. They become subject to the dictates and whims of their welfare supervisor, who can tell them whether they can live here or there, whether they may put in a telephone, what they may do with their lives. They're treated like children, not like responsible adults. And they're trapped in the system. Maybe a job comes up that looks better than welfare, but they're afraid to take it, because if they lose it after a few months, it may be 6 months or 9 months before they can get back onto welfare. And as a result, this becomes a self-perpetuating cycle, rather than simply a temporary state of affairs.
For the past 7 years, Maureen Ramsey has had to buy food and clothes for her family out of a government handout. For the whole of that time, her husband, Steve, hasn't had a job.
The jobs around now these days, you only come up with about £45 a week. And then you deduct your stamp out of that. You still finish up with about £39. So what good is he working? When you still get the same thing, you know what I mean?
Of course, he's quite right that it may not pay him to get a job now. That's not his fault, and I don't blame him. He's acting sensibly and intelligently for his own interest and the interest of his family. It's the fault of a system which takes away the incentive from him to get a job. Poverty is money.
Right, exactly.
And we ought to have a program under which we assure a minimum level of income, of spending, and then let people spend it the way they want.
Absolutely.
What do you do about people who are poor, whether for their own fault or not for their own fault? You and I and society in general is not willing to see them starve to death.
Correct.
In my book, Capitalism and Freedom, I propose something called a negative income tax.
You see what I mean? Like, it's a libertarian concept. It takes away the government bureaucracy, and the money will come from like taxing the corporations, which is another reason why they're scared of Andrew Yang, because they're scared of losing their money. I mean, because look at how universal basic income has worked in Alaska. Like, if you see how the universal basic income is being paid in Alaska, like they're using the tax money from oil revenues. Like, basically the oil revenues is basically paying for the UBI for that state. I mean, but considering the U.S. is a bigger country, y'all could say like, how is $1,000 a month going to work for 300 million people? Well, look at it this way. Imagine if Amazon imagine if companies like Amazon got paid. Let's say if Amazon pays like at least a couple of percentages of their taxes, they make like $11 billion. Imagine paying like a few percentages of that tax. That would take care of universal basic income. And there's like hundreds of corporations that don't pay their taxes, that pay their fair share in taxes. Like, if the share was actually fair, like, UBI could actually happen, you know what I'm saying? Like, $1,000 a month, basically, like, no government middleman to, like, handle, like, your benefit for you. It'll come straight for the corporations. And then, like, the people will have the money, and I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, the people have, like, money, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, like, a bit of economic freedom. Like, yeah, like, folks that have more economic freedom, so, you know what I'm saying, like, buy what they need, you know what I'm saying, buy what they want, and that money will go to corporations, and, like, they'll be taxed to the people spend the money that go to corporations. But I don't know why multinational corporations are, like, you know what I'm saying, I wonder why they're not down with universal basic income, because automation is real, y'all. Like, automation is really real, and, like, Andrew Yang is speaking up about it. That's why he's resonating so much. But unfortunately, on the polls right now, he's polling around 3.5%. He's polling lower than Buttigieg, Bloomberg, Klobuchar, and the front two, Sanders and Biden. But Bloomberg's polling that high because he spends a lot of money on ads. I mean, trust me, Andrew Yang doesn't have the money like Bloomberg has in like buying an ad. Bloomberg like, shit, I'll just drop some money, get some ads. Like, that's how his polling numbers are. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Tom Steyer, like polling like 1.5%. How the seriously, they buy their way into the primaries basically themselves. But Andrew Yang is a true grassroots candidate. And if he had the media attention that Biden would have, he would be an absolute front runner. And he would absolutely stomp Donald Trump in the 2020 election, because he just seems like a breath of fresh air. He's not like divisive. He doesn't use identity politics a lot. He just seems to be like just a cool, fun, really memeable guy. I mean, I don't agree with him on everything. He wants to tax like cow farts. Like, he said Julian Assange should testify in a trial for journalism, and he wants to make do with cars. But other than those issues, I support Andrew Yang because, like, for the mainstream political parties, he is the most libertarian-like. Yeah, he's the most libertarian-like, even over Trump. I mean, I will debate a Trump supporter about who's more libertarian. I mean, trust me, I will get down if you want to debate about Andrew Yang or Donald Trump being a more libertarian candidate, because I 100% believe Yang is more beneficial for libertarians than Trump is. But yeah, if you like this video, please share.